Good day. So, I'm going to be trying something different. I'm currently participating in Aspiring Principals program, and the day afterwards, I'm going to reflect on some highlights from the training, and then this will help me process how I can implement the information I use. As educators, we all go to trainings, get information, get back to our buildings, and then what do we do with the information? So yesterday at our training, we talked about building a positive school culture, and then we also talked about ethics. We had 3 principals who came and spoke about their work and what they are currently doing to build a positive culture. The first speaker, she discussed, and I was very inspired by her, she discussed about working hard and being nice to people. She also talked about managing processes and leading people. And I believe that helped me to reflect about what processes am I putting in place as an assistant principal and a future principal to lead people. We don't manage people, we manage processes. So when something is wrong, what are we doing to adjust our practices or our processes and systems to make it better? One thing this principal talked about, I asked her the question, when she transitioned from AP to principal, what did she do in the first 90 days? And she discussed meeting with every employee for 20 minutes. I need to email her to find out as far as what questions she asked. She talked about 3 questions. I did not write them down, but similar to what's working, what's not working, and what type of leader do they need. The second person doing our session was Miss Colleen Jones. I was truly inspired by her. She talked about knowing your why. So it made me reflect, okay, you're going to make a pay raise when you get a principal. You'll be in charge of the building. But really, what is your why? Why do you want to serve as principal? And she talked about her why. Her why involved her brother. Her brother did not like school. And she discussed his freshman year, he was failing his math class. And he went to his teacher and asked, hey, I need some help. What can I do to do better in this class? And the teacher didn't do anything. She basically gave him his paper back and said, you earned an F. The principal's mother was working hard with the son. She indicated that her brother wrote a letter and he ended his life because of his grades. She didn't go in detail, but her why is she doesn't want any other kid to feel like school is not a fun place, not a place of hope. So I called her the hope dealer. She inspires. She said people call her Mary Poppins. She's not making things perfect, but she wants it just to be a place where kids feel they belong. She focused a lot on building a student-centered environment. Everything we do should be geared to how does it impact our students. She had a lot of great examples. She also emphasized the importance of the principal serving as the instructional leader. In particular, she talked about collaborative planning. She said regardless of what is going on, collaborative planning is a sacred time, and she spends time with teachers. She shared her framework. I did get that, and she talked about that. The next principal was the male principal of a high school, and he basically talked about leading his team, building capacity, in alignment to both of the principles. You don't manage people, you manage processes, and it's important that you build capacity. If there's a problem, there's a solution. He had a frame involving leadership. I have to pull my notes out, but I enjoyed him. And then each of us, the aspiring principals, we shared a 90-day plan. So that'll be something for future aspiring principals. Do you have a 90-day plan? Or do you know what a 90-day plan is? The feedback I got from my 90-day plan is making sure I'm including a 90-day impact presentation. I'm also including the district initiatives in my 90-day plan. And then we also shared our vision board. My vision board was more personal. I talked about, the next step, obviously, that I wanted to go in administration as I'm leading a school as a principal. But I also talked about, in my vision board, about balance, prioritizing self, family, and just growth. I should have also included, as a principal, what does that look like to me? It's not just about having that title, but when I become a principal, what does it look like? And it looks like to me collaboration. The Principal Jones talked about not collaboration shouldn't be about collaboration, where people are just talking, but how they're collaborating. And then the first principal also talked about don't let it become a whining session. She talked about BMW. You know what that word means. BITCH. W for whining, and then M for moaning. So those are some things that stuck out to me. The second principal also talked about every school is not for everyone, so you want to make sure the people you're building that you lead, they're there for the best interest of the students. After we did our vision board, we had a representative, the director of ethics. So they gave us scenarios of concerns that have occurred. They gave us a scenario, and then they gave us questions to think about. And then from the questions, they asked what standards were impacted. We completed a Kahoot game. And then I like our intro activity. For our intro activity, we completed We Connect cards. And I indicated that we could use that with our staff as it relates to building connection within the adults. Because teachers, they see each other in the hallway, they see each other when they're leaving, but they really don't get an opportunity to connect and get to know each other. And I believe those connection cards is a good icebreaker to increase connection with the staff. I thoroughly enjoyed today's presentation. I did meet another AP that wrote a book, and that's something I aspire to do. And she gave me her contact information, so I'll be reaching out to her. And then I also like to A quote another AP had on her shirt. She said, if there's no shared vision, you have a failed vision. So it's important to share your vision with someone else so they can hold you accountable. And then as it relates to school, you got to share the vision of the school, because as assistant principal, as a principal, you're not there to do all the work. You're there to lead the work. And you lead the work by building capacity in others. I left inspired. I left motivated. And I think most importantly, I left reflecting on what practices am I implementing to ensure the team I serve focuses on students. And then I also want to make sure I'm managing processes and leading people. As leaders, we're charged with the responsibility of building future leaders. So I'm inspired. I'm ready for the work. I know one thing I'll be looking at my processes as it relates to students with behavior challenges, and then processes in helping teachers get the work done. I'm going to be doing more check-ins and just making sure I'm connecting with people. One of the principals also talked about how you build influence. You can't just automatically build influence through your title. You have to build trust, and you build trust by connecting with people and then making small wins. So I hope this helps you. Have a great day.